Okay, in your science journal, and Grant, if you don't have your science journal, you can just do a regular piece of paper like me. We folded it and glued down this part, and then we've cut this line and made 3 flaps. And we drew the lines where the flaps were, so we can make 3 flaps. The sun, the moon, and the stars. So today we're going to learn about the stars. We're going to do the bottom one. We're going to do the bottom one first, the stars. So that's what we're going to learn about. The first thing we're going to do is watch a video. Shh. That's not the one. Let's see. Maybe I'll put it here. Here we go. Okay, so stars are hot balls of gas in space. The reason we can even see stars in the sky is because each star has energy in the middle of it. This energy gives off light and heat, which gives the star a glow. One of the easiest stars to spot in the sky is the sun. The sun is the closest to Earth. Stars are often seen as pictures in the sky called, remember that word yesterday? Constellations. That's right. So we're going to watch a video about stars. Chase, will you get the lights?
The night sky is full of cool things to look at, and I bet a lot of you have been looking up there and wondering about the same things that we do. We've gotten some really interesting questions from kids like you about what you see up there. 8-year-old Alice from New Zealand has been doing some sky watching, and she recently emailed to ask us, what are stars and how do they work? Let me just say, that's a stellar question. If you look up at the night sky, all the stars that you see might look pretty similar, but don't let your eyes fool you. All of those stars have some important things in common, but they're also all different. They can be different colors like white, yellow, red, and blue. They can also be different sizes, from about the size of a planet to something many, many times bigger than the sun. But before we meet some of these extreme stars, let's figure something out first. What exactly is a star? Stars are just really huge balls of hot gas in space, and deep in their centers, all stars are constantly generating an enormous amount of energy. This energy eventually travels out from the center of the star, where it's given off as heat and light. That's what gives stars their glow. So, keeping in mind that all stars are giant balls of gas that come in all kinds of sizes and colors, want to meet them for yourself? Let's start with the most important star, at least for us here on Earth, the sun. That's right, the sun is a star, and it's a specific kind of star called a yellow dwarf. While we think of our sun as being super huge and incredibly hot, which it definitely is compared to Earth, it's actually pretty average compared to other stars, meaning it's right in the middle, between the biggest and the smallest and the hottest and the coolest stars. So there are some stars that are much bigger than the sun and way hotter. If you want to find one, just look for the constellation known as Orion. It's one of the easiest constellations to spot. If you look down to the right, to the star where Orion's knee is supposed to be, you'll find Rigel. Rigel is a good example of a kind of star called a blue supergiant. As you can guess from its name, it's blue instead of yellow, and it's enormous. Rigel is more than twice as hot as the sun, and it's also more than 70 times bigger. If you could put the sun next to Rigel, our big old sun would look like a tiny speck. And in addition to all of the huge hot stars in the sky, there are plenty of smaller, cooler ones too. The smallest and coolest stars in space tend to glow with a dim red color, and the sun is more than twice as hot as most of them. A good example of this kind of star is right next door, at least in terms of space. Proxima Centauri is the nearest star to our sun, and it's a kind called a red dwarf. It's in the constellation Centaurus in the southern sky, but even though it's closer to the sun than any other star, it's so small that you can't even see it from Earth without a telescope. How small is it? Well, you could fit 7 Proxima Centauris inside the sun, from end to end. So while you're stargazing on the next clear night, keep in mind that the stars might look pretty much the same, but now you know they come in different colors and sizes, a lot like we do. Thanks to Alice for asking such a great question, and thanks to you for taking this trip with us to the star. And remember, if you have a question about anything you'd like to learn more about, just let us know by getting help from a parent and leaving a comment below, or emailing us at kids@thescishow.com. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, we said that stars, right at the bottom, are balls of gas in space, and they are different colors and sizes. Now, I forgot now what I was going to ask. Oh, what are the two things that a star gives off? There's two things, Heather. Okay, light. Yes, but yes, they give off light. I guess we'll do three. Heat and Gracie?
I was going to say
heat. Blaze?
yes.
No, they're made of gas. Isaiah?
A glow.
They do give off a glow. Wyatt?
Energy.
Energy, yes. They have light. They give off, they give off light with heat and energy. And we'll say what Isaiah said too. They glow. What is a group of stars called? That big word we learned yesterday. What's a group of stars called? The pictures in the sky. Chase? Right. Groups are called constellations. Groups called oh, this is such a big word. Constellations. I think that's enough about stars. That's a lot of things. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things we just wrote about stars. They're balls of gas in space. They're different colors and sizes. They give off light with heat and energy. They glow. And the groups of them are called constellations that make pictures in the sky.
Are we going to listen in the morning?
That's the plan.
Yeah.
You'll see. Make an hypothesis, and that's a guess using our schema and what we already know. We're going to make a guess on why we think something happens. And then we'll watch a video to investigate, and it'll help us decide why that really does happen and see if our guess was correct. So it says, I notice that when I go outside, I cannot always see the stars. I think that, why do you think you cannot always see the stars? Write it up here. Everyone write your own thing. Right here why you can't see the stars all the time. Did I not give you paper? Right up there on the top why you can't see the stars all the time. I'm not going to write up there. You have to write what you think. And draw a picture that matches what you think. So write why you think that you cannot always see the stars, and then draw a picture to go with it. By watching a video. So let me see if I can get to my video here. Over here. Okay. So where do stars go in the morning? Uh-oh, it's soon morning, and I'm going to disappear. Just kidding. I shine both during the day and the night. I'm right here. So why can't you see me during the day? Let's experiment to find out. Turn off the lights in your room and then turn on a flashlight. You will see it shine brightly. Okay, so Grant, at home in your room, turn off all your lights and get a flashlight and see how well you can see with a flashlight in your room in the dark. So I'm going to turn our lights off here. Where did the music go? Now turn on the light in the room. The light of the flashlight can be barely seen. Okay, so we tried that. Now, turn on the light in the room. The light of the flashlight can barely be seen. So we're going to try that. Grant, you try it at home. Try it with your flashlight. Turn the lights on and then try it with your flashlight. That's what happens to stars too. The strong light of the sun causes the light of the stars to barely be seen. That's why you cannot see stars until nighttime, when the sky is dark again. Okay, so let's go back to our investigation. So we investigated, and we saw that, I'm going to draw it in half like this. When the sun is shining, the stars can barely be seen, right? Hardly even see them, if see them at all. But when there's no sun and the moon is out, the stars are really bright. Or you can write, wait, I'm not going to do circles. I'm going to make them stars. The stars are really bright. That's what we saw. So in the daylight, the sun, the stars, they're still there, but we cannot see them. They're just little bitty specks, and we can't really hardly see them. But at night, there's no light from the sun, so we can really see all the energy that they put off in their light and their glow. So we've investigated. I saw that during the day, the sun light blocks, I think that's a good word, the light of the stars. During the day, the sunlight blocks the light of the stars. And because of our investigation, I can conclude that we only see stars at night. But they are always there, right? They are always there. We can only see stars at night, but they are always there. The stars do not go away. They do not move. They're in the same spot all the time. Now, they're in a different spot in our sky, but that's because we're moving, right? It's like the sun isn't moving, but we are moving. But we can see them at night because the sunlight isn't blocking their light.